Ready?
Now
3,
I
2,
can
1.
talk. Now I'm
you're
allowed to talk.
Mr.
Dictator.
Mr. Dick.
Tater.
First name Dick, last name Tater.
You said it was National Tequila Day.
I did.
So I'm going to go up. We're just going to drink tequila all day long.
Let's start now.
I think we should. Just shots? Shots?
Shots!
Yeah!
Yeah, baby! It's the Jack
And Kathy.
Show.
Shit show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was
Okay,
that? Did you like
I think it, yeah.
Okay. I will be wasted in 30 minutes. Tequila hits me like no other alcohol.
I love tequila.
I love tequila too.
Love it. I love it.
But the last time I got sick was on tequila. It was ugly. It was so ugly.
You've had tequila since? Oh, the last time you got sick from drinking.
The last time I got sick from
it.
drinking,
Sorry.
which sadly was in my very much adult life. That is not even a story from I was 20. Nope.
Tell the story.
Nope. I was probably in my 50s already, and I was could not feel my legs.
You look very sexy right now. Want to make out?
God, no.
Okay. So tell everyone why you couldn't feel. Tell the story.
No, it was a work party, and tequila
In
was
Wisconsin?
flowing, and I somehow thought it was a good idea to fill my glass up like a glass of wine, and proceeded to drink.
Did you buy any popcorn? You
Did I buy popcorn?
Get it when I had all that bourbon? You didn't make stupid purchases like I did when I got wasted on bourbon.
No.
Okay.
Did we tell that story?
You can
We
tell
could
it
just
next.
have a
We
whole.
did.
We could have a whole episode of drunk, stupid. Oh no, let's not.
Drunk and other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a long podcast.
That would be embarrassing, and we would feel so bad about ourselves for all that.
Really? I wouldn't feel bad at all.
Me neither.
I'm serious. Finish telling your story. So you were at a party.
Yeah, it was a work party, and tequila was flowing, and shots were flowing, and I believe that tequila is part alcohol and part drug. And I know alcohol is its own drug,
perfect.
but almost like a I don't know what kind of drug. I don't know what classification of drug I would say.
It's in the classification of wonderful.
But it catches
So
up to you
good.
fast. But anyway, so
We like it.
I consumed way too much. I overserved myself. And at the end of the evening,
Did you get sick?
I did.
You
When I
did.
got home, I got sick. I didn't remember getting sick. And then in the morning, I looked in my bathroom sink
Come on.
and saw food in the sink. I'm like, ooh, I think I got sick.
In your sink?
Yeah, I didn't make it to
And
the
you don't
toilet, I
remember?
guess.
Oh, my God.
I don't remember. I know. This is embarrassing. I
That's
should shut
really
up.
Pathetic.
And then I was sick all the next day. It was a 2-day recovery. It was nasty. It was really nasty. I probably did some damage. There's some
We like tequila. Though. We
damage.
drink it well together.
Yes, but now I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at moderating. There's no reason. My glasses are crooked. I'm trying to fix them a little bit.
Okay.
So there's no reason to, 2 drinks is a good number. And sometimes I'll reach for a third, but it really doesn't taste good going down, no matter what it is.
That's what she said. When we were first dating.
I got to be careful what I say.
When we were first dating, did you know that? Because we don't do this anymore because I don't let you. But we would have.
I love it when you talk like that.
Well, I don't mean it in a misogynistic
I don't
power way.
let you?
Well, no.
Well,
because,
just finish your sentence and then we'll know
because
the
we would
context,
we would
'cause I
both
no
have
idea.
2 somethings, 2 bourbons, 2 old fashions, 2 beers, and then you go, let's have a third, and then you would have a sip,
Yeah,
and then you'd look at me and go, finish this,
yeah.
and then I go, oh, fine, and I'd finish it, and then I wondered why I put on 15 pounds.
I go for a third because I think it sounds good, and then I'm really
You have a
not
sip
enjoying
of
it.
it, right? And your brain goes, I can't do this.
Yeah. Do you feel your body's like that? Like you drink a lot. You hardly drink alcohol these days. You don't really drink much these days.
You know, what
really
I would
cut back.
I have.
Yeah.
But that's why I've also lost weight. I mean,
Yes.
there's a 1-to-1
Yeah.
there. And I'm worried about my brain. I like doing other stuff more.
Other stuff more, like your gummies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy that much more because I don't feel it puts on weight. unless I eat a shit ton of
Oh,
chips.
hello.
You
That
got-
is
I know
worse.
it can be bad. You got.
Oh
really,
my goodness. When we went to
we're gonna make this whole.
Summerfest,
We're gonna make this whole topic
when
about
we went to
getting-
Summerfest
about
and we had a
inappropriate
gummy,
chemicals, aren't we?
and we had such a good time. We ate like pigs, babe.
We had 3 days of ingesting gummies in a row every weekend for 3 weekends.
In a row?
Good one.
Thank you. Nobody knows what that is, but
only
you do.
the best will. In
You
a
do.
row? That's the best.
Jack is masterful at movie quotes and movie scenes, and
Someone
you and
write
your,
us if they know what that movie is.
you and your friend Pat are very, very
so
good
stupid.
with it. You'll say one word like, I
37?
don't know, sneaker. And you're like, oh, that's a line from.
Well, we just actually spot out the line.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking about, though, our chemical dependency habits and the bad choices
That
we've
is
made.
not the case at all. There's no chemical
I love
dependency.
tequila.
Thank
Tequila is bad.
goodness.
We went to the tequila event. We never got our bottle, by the way. I
That
keep
was
forgetting to
really
ask.
good tequila. Oh,
Yeah, we went to that
yeah.
tequila event and had straight up tequila. We didn't. Was it on ice?
I'll call the front desk after
All
we
right.
finish here.
So we went to this tequila event and had. It was
do
freaking
you know the name of it again?
the reposado. It was.
It was
started with an E.
Reposado that we purchased.
We purchased a bottle of it because we loved it, and then we had taste samples of progressively more expensive bottles, and truly thought about buying the most expensive bottle. It was so good, and we just had it straight up. We didn't have it in anything.
No, we
remember?
didn't. And that was delicious.
Oh my God, it was sweet. Do you think we have a
Yeah.
problem?
No.
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 Okay.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right.
Don't be upset, Mom and Dad.
So anyway, there's a song that's been going through my head, and normally they're really cool, and so I'm wondering if I'm slipping into the what's the word? Slipping into the oblivion of my brain.
Oh, is that a song lyric?
That sounds really it does sound like a
Yeah.
good song
Yeah.
lyric.
Slipping into the oblivion of my brain. It
I
sounds
think,
rather frightening, actually.
I think I'm regressing. I think I'm going into a dark place. Because there's a song
Sorry?
rolling through my head. Ever since we left the workout this morning, this song has been racing through my head.
Which song?
Ready? Wheels on the bus go round and
Oh,
round,
God, you're such an
round and
asshole.
round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round.
That's because your
all through
grandbaby
the town.
is about to
No.
enter the world any second.
I think it's because
like
I'm regressing
literally
into the
any
oblivion.
second. Alex was due
Yesterday,
yesterday,
I lost that
and
bet.
so, yeah.
Are you excited about being a grandparent?
I'm just going to be Kathy.
Well, I mean, by default, the kid's going to know you as a grandparent.
I think I'll just be Kathy.
Okay. Are you excited about being Kathy, the person who's married to someone who has a grandchild? Like, what are we doing right now?
I don't feel worthy.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just so
You feel
strange
awkward
to
'cause
be
it's
like
not your- technically not yours?
Step grandmother. I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
You won't step on anyone's toes, and the kid isn't going to know the difference, and the kids are going to grow up with so many blended, weird family stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of the world we live.
It
in
is
which
the
we
world.
live, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
You feel weird about it?
I'm very conscientious of how other people feel. Maybe too much. But
Then maybe
I'm-
you shouldn't be around the kid. How's that change things for you?
But they're going to really like me.
Not if they don't see you, because they won't know who you are. Who's that woman that's always with Grandpa?
That's Kathy.
Concubine
She's my
Kathy.
favorite.
Concubine Kathy. I want to get me a concubine, Grandpa. That's pretty good. Cece.
We had visitors this weekend.
Oh, God, it was so much
Someone that Jack knows and has done work with over the years. She was in town with her husband, their nanny, and their 3 young children that are, correct me if I'm wrong, like 6,
7,
4,
4, and 2
7,
months.
4, and
Months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And the most adorable kids. And Jack, you were hilarious talking to these children. Tell the story of when you explained the insurance and deductibles to the 7-year-old.
Well, first of all,
You just like messing with people's heads, and these children are going to come home from staying at Grandpa's and be like, Grandpa said that.
Mom, did you know? So their daughter, they're going to Green Bay for the husband's got some work to do in Green Bay. So they've got this 4-year-old. She was adorable. They all were adorable. I mean, I'm not
Absolutely.
trying to, they were just gorgeous. And the 4-year-old looks at me and I said, "Hey, you're going to Green Bay. Do you know that's where teddy bears were founded?" And I said, "Do you like teddy bears?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, the first teddy bear was originated there because there were a lot of bears that used to wander Green Bay, and sometimes the mothers wouldn't be able to take care of the bears, and so the little teddy bears would be raised by the families of Green Bay, and then someone decided to make a company where they made teddy bears because they love bears so much. So when you're in Green Bay, just go up to people and say, "Go Bears." Anyone that understands it, it's a football reference. Clearly, right? But I wanted to put it in the context of how the whole town loves teddy.
Everybody in the town, go Bears.
Go Bears. Because that's what they say, because they love teddy bears. And she had this dazed look on her face. But her parents, it's designed for the parents, right? It's not designed for the kids because the parents are going, "What are you doing?"
Jack
and so I actually wrote
Honar,
Allie.
Life is never dull with you.
I wrote Allie and I
never
said,
dull.
So I wrote the mother. I said, "Have you done that yet with your daughter?" And she's, of course, going, "We're not doing that." But her daughter wanted to say, "What was I supposed?" Her daughter said to her, "What was I supposed to say again?" or something along those lines. But then we've got this pickup truck, this big Tundra. And by the way, we're not posers with it, for the record.
No, it's actually utilized like
often,
a real truck.
It had mulch in it this year, which was really kind of fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was cool.
It was cool until we had to clean it. But anyway, we've got this big, huge Tundra. And for those of you listening, it's not a euphemism. That's
Nobody thought that, Jack.
I know. Well, if any of my guy friends are, they'd be
thought
like,
it was
"Oh,
a euphemism."
It's euphemism." So we're driving the truck around front. So I go, where we live, it's all alleys and stuff like that. So I pull the truck out of the garage and so I put the 7-year-old on my lap and said, "You want to drive the truck?" And his mother was cool with it, and everyone else got in the flatbed, and we're going 5 miles an hour. And so as we're driving around the block toward the street, there's cars in the street, and he's like, "Let's hit a car." So he starts to turn the wheel toward one. Of course, I grab him. I'm like, "No, that's a bad thing." And right away, his mother, who was in the car, goes, "Why is that a bad thing?" He said, "Because someone could get hurt." And I went, "No, that's not the reason. See." Should I do the whole thing?
Sure.
I said, "See, if you get in an accident, then I get to decide how much damage either I do to the car or the car's done to us, and that could affect my deductible. And if my deductible goes up, well, then sure enough, my rates might go up, and that's what we don't want, because right now rates are already really high because insurance companies are claiming that the cost to manufacture and chips are still part of the whole recession thing and still part of inflation. And so what we don't want to do is have that go. And the last thing I want, of course, is my rates to go up because I'm already paying too much as it is. And plus, what if it isn't out of my deductible because my deductible is only $250, and the next thing you know, I'm out $500 cash, or even worse, maybe $1,000 or $2,000. Or what if now I have to go to court?"
Good Lord.
And so I'm going out like this, and this kid's eyes just completely gloss over. I said, "So that's why we don't want to hit a car."
Repeat back. And repeat what I said.
It's all this. It's for the parents, and then you come in and you're so sweet, and you coddle them. So Kathy's very good at decorating our house, and on some of our windows, you've got these trinkets that kind of hang from the latch.
Yeah, they're the kids, what they made one of them is what Sam made in grade school.
Right. So it's something her son made. So
slap of ceramic
so
with
the
etch
4-year-old
marks in it and sloppy paint, and it just is the
So the
cutest
4-year-old
thing.
says, "What's this?" Mm-hmm. And right before Kathy goes, "Oh, my son made it," I said, "Well, Kathy used to be an archaeologist, and one day she was digging." I said, "You know what an archaeologist is? Like, they go out into the wilderness and they find bones and dinosaur bones and all this stuff." So I started going down this path, and you stopped me. Do you remember that? You're like,
No.
Yeah, you did. You stopped me. You're like, "My son made that." You like quickly stopped.
Oh, I probably was not listening to
Oh.
you, Jack Honar.
So I went on the whole path.
I just
of
have
how
learned to tune
then
you out. The
you
kids
were-
haven't learned that yet.
And you were an archaeologist, and you were with the Incas. And that
Soon
was
your grandchildren are going to hear wah, 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 wah.
They're going to be
that's Grandpa
It's going to be
talking again.
perfect.
Wah, 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 wah.
Well, did you know? Okay, so real life story. So first of all, Alex used to call Yosemite Yosemite
Yeah.
And we never told her. So she's in school telling people it's Yosemite. And finally, we're like, it's Yosemite. Because we were having a blast with it. She was probably, of course, she was not happy with the fact that we kept that, right?
Yeah.
So my fear is that I think it's going to be hilarious if I actually keep telling these kids these things. Maybe like they're in second grade and they've got a show and tell. And I give them that same thing your son made. And and tell them it was from the Incas.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I'm going to get a call from my daughter going, what are you doing?
The kid's not going to believe anything you say. Just like me. Not believe anything you say.
I think it's funny.
It is funny.
And when they're little, they bite. You know, they chomp onto that.
Yeah.
And plus...
Well, they're just malleable. They're a blank slate. And you are making an impression.
Well, and Alex is not only my daughter, but this woman who I've worked with for a number of years. And, she said...
You mean the name is the same not the same person. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, sorry. They share a name. And so Alex, the woman I've worked with who had her kids over and all that, she said, you always talk to the kids like they're adults ever since, because I've known her kids before the third was born. And I always have done that. I've never done, I don't do that, even when they're a week old. But it was interesting because they drove from Ohio 6 hours, but they had car problems, had to return a car twice, et cetera. So what would normally be a 6-hour trip was 10. So they got here way late. And so I'm sitting outside the next morning having coffee on our front porch, and the sun comes out. He's really cute. I said, so you slept right away, and we're having this conversation. And I said, remember, I don't know if you heard this part where I said to him, how was the drive? And he goes, it was 10 hours. How do you think it was? That's how he responds. And I went, that sounds like it kind of sucked. Right. And I just had a conversation like that. And I thought, this is fantastic. He's 7. And I'm like, let's get into it, dude. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to have a grandchild. And it's pretty exciting.
It is very
And you to
exciting.
have a grandchild watching me. So, you weirdo. So, shift
Am I
gears.
called a step grandmother? Wait, is there like
CC, concubine Kathy.
Okay. Step grandmother or just grandma?
How about just Kathy? What's wrong with just Kathy?
Grandma Kathy?
Yeah, Grandma Kathy. What's wrong with that?
That's fine. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be called Grandpa Kathy. Or Grandpa Riley. Change my name. So, last week we put out there to people. Can we segue and change, or should we take a commercial?
No, go right
should
ahead.
we take a commercial break and then get back to it?
Yes.
And now
play
we're back.
all our commercials.
And now we're back.
It's like we were never even gone.
How fast was that? So, if you recall, we asked people what they thought of the challenge you had in front of you on telling your ex.
Oh, yeah. Got to give an update on that. Mm-hmm.
Everyone was on our side.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? The responses we got were on our side. Yeah.
I did. You told me about one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pam.
Yeah.
I remember the one from Pam.
There were a few more, and they were on our side, saying
Okay.
that they get it, that it's at some point break ties.
Yeah. Well, so here's the distinction. Here's what unfolded. My kids asked me specifically, please tell my ex-husband that of our impending marriage. So I did exactly that. I texted him. I did not call him. I did text and, basically saying, I'm not sure you're aware, but I just wanted to let you know that Jack and I are getting married October 5th. And, of course, the kids will be in town. And just so you know, before anything even happened with the engagement, I discussed it both with them. And I'm sure it's very weird, but, so far so good. And he said best wishes. And then he had, and then he said something about, making sure my assets are protected. So clearly he's met you, right?
Yeah.
Gold digger. Let me know if you find any.
Where are they?
When you start digging.
Where are they?
Because I know you're in it for the money.
Talk about an archaeologist find. We've uncovered a quarter. We got support for it. I get the distinction was that your kids didn't want to dive into that.
Correct.
I get it.
If the kids would not have requested it, I would not have said anything. But this, because they were going to be in town, it wasn't some random city. They could actually run into their father. I didn't want them they felt awkward. They have a good relationship with their father. It's different than mine. It tends to not be a super emotional relationship, so they are not in a comfort zone to talk about these emotional things with my ex-husband. So I took the bullet for them, and I ripped off that Band-Aid, and then I shared with the kids that he was updated, and they both said thank you. It's nice to know that it's nice to be informed. Thank you. So that was it. So kind of went against what I ultimately believed I should be done, but I couldn't help not be pulled by the request of my children because they are very, I don't know, my kids haven't asked too much of me in this whole thing, and they've always been respectful, and, you know, it's not like I have these demanding children who are saying, I don't know. So
my
agree?
kids listening to this podcast know that I wouldn't do it.
I know. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I stayed. They asked the same thing, and I went, I'm not doing it.
Well, your relationship is different, you know, and your kids' relationship with their mother is different too. So, I
don't think it was a right. I appreciate the fact that people chimed in, and I don't know that there's a instead of right or wrong, perfect way. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
That's with all of this, right? That's sort of an overarching theme to this whole
podcast,
divorce and podcast and our lives. And there's no textbook, there's no rule book, there's no guideline that must be followed. It's
like anything in life: parenting, going to school, relationships.
No doubt, yeah.
You can read all the books you want, but until you go through it and
find what's right for you and for the others around you that you love and care about, that's where you are, right?
I will say your kids seem to have a shift recently because we went out with your son a couple days ago.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Sunday night. Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, who did we talk to about this? Was it your friend Mary from Colorado? Or somebody said, it's not like they're 5-year-olds. They're in their 20s.
Yeah.
Right? Who are we talking to?
Oh, they're grown-ass adults. They are full-fledged humans.
So their role with their interactions with their parents are just different. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they aren't sad about the circumstance. That's not what I'm implying. It's just that they're at a stage in their life where it's a different level of impact, right? They've got their own shit going on.
No doubt.
And so they just don't want, I feel, drama. They don't want it to be the middle people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I mean, I think it's, the kids inevitably will get stuck in the middle. There's no way around that, right? There's Christmas at one house, Christmas at another house, and then you add in-laws into the equation and then throw a kid in there. It's always going to be a lot to bounce between all of that, and there's going to be some pulling.
Do you feel that's dependent upon how the parent reacts? Do you know what I mean by that?
I think the parents definitely can set the tone for the children, for sure.
Yeah.
And if a parent would lay on a thick guilt trip to one child about a choice that they made, I could see that really adding to the pressure of the kid. Right?
Do you feel we do that?
No, not yet. I mean, maybe a little bit at holidays.
I think between the two of us, get more emotional over the holiday stuff. Like that doesn't, I don't know if that's because of my religious beliefs or lack thereof, where the holidays, and I know with the kids it's probably going to be different because now it's going to be a grandchild and oh my God, watch them opening up presents. And this year opening up presents is going to be silly. The kid's going to be clueless at 4 months old or 5 months. But holidays have never, like I prefer taking vacations with the kids and going skiing. Like I'd love if this little munchkin that my daughter and her husband are having at 2 years old wants to ski. I mean, that's better than any Christmas you could ever give me.
No doubt. Yeah.
So it's time with them that I cherish. And I don't mean them grandchildren, I mean our children. Like going to see your son on Sunday was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Visiting my daughter during the week was great.
Yep.
Right? And
Yep.
so that's Christmas right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, it's not Christmas, but your point, what I hear you saying is you are extremely grateful for all those moments. And it's not just a big event like Christmas, a big holiday that makes you appreciate the time you have with the kids.
Yeah. If, like, for example, my sister's got that beautiful summer house, and if after the baby's born, I'm just throwing this in there because it's clearly due date week.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say a month from now, my sister says, hey, before school starts for her youngest, we're all going to have just some barbecue. Just seeing everybody at my sister's to me is, I guess you're right. You're picking up that I don't need a holiday for us to get together.
Mm-hmm.
And so even in my divorce, I didn't have Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And while it's great to have them there, and don't get me wrong, but they seem so prescribed.
Yeah.
How's that?
Right.
It's Christmas, so therefore, and I'd rather be.
And it's such a stressful time too. It really is so stressful.
So here's my point. I would rather be, even if it doesn't appear as credit for me. Okay, see if this makes sense. I would rather be the instigator, and I like that word, of change, meaning go ahead, spend December 25th with your mom. And if you got the 27th or 8th or sometime around then, so I could at least open up some presents, let's do that. Like, it doesn't have to be so prescriptive.
Right.
And so if my choice...
Or regimented.
Right. And if my choice can support them in a way, as long as, what I don't want to have happen is me bending over backward continually. And then I never get to see them, right?
Right. And then you start to feel taken advantage of.
Well, that's when
like, Dad doesn't care, so I can just...
Yeah, it's not a lack of care.
Blow that off,
right?
Or something.
It's not that we don't... Yeah, it's clearly not that we don't care.
No, of course not. But it's supporting the kids, to...
Yeah, I mean, this is... I'm excited about us making this commitment, and we talked about it on probably 40 podcasts ago after we listened to one about a woman who said why she decided to get married in her 60s, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about what it is, but to me it's a day, for example, and it doesn't change our commitment to one another, and it does affect our kids because now they've got multiples, right? They didn't have a multiple before, now there's a multiple.
Parents? Or just
in general. They're
parent figures?
They're parent figures now. There's more involved than just the nuclear...
Right.
way of doing things.
Right.
And so that cannot be easy. Our podcast is about relationships. And so we often talk about ours. And lately we seem to be focusing, I don't know if you notice this, on our kids. Because they're going through natural life changes. They're trying to figure out who they want to be. They're buying homes. They're having children. And it's funny because I feel that so much is past us now that... Do you feel this way, that life just feels really like you see things easier? Not that life is easier because you worry about finances and insurance and your health and right? But doesn't it seem simpler?
Yeah.
Right? Or no? Do you feel
some
that?
Things, I think the challenges at this age are just different. I think they're just different.
They seem like easier challenges to me.
Well, that's good.
I just feel I feel we've been through so much in life, and maybe it's because we have each other. Maybe that's a big part of it. And
that does help, doesn't it?
To have a partner that...
Gosh, yeah.
It's all the difference, and it makes every day so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is she?
What is wrong with you? So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. Can we change topics again then too now?
Of course.
And not talk about inappropriate use with alcohol or tequila. Yeah. How about crazy change in our world of politics?
Yes. So Sunday.
Today's Tuesday.
Biden dropped out of the race. And Kamala looks like she is going to be the Democratic nominee.
Crazy.
And she has not decided on who her running mate will be. It's going to, supposedly, the administration has said it's either Shapiro from Pennsylvania, or what's his face from Arizona?
Mark Kelly.
Do
you think I should throw my hat into that ring?
Babe?
Because I can carry Wisconsin.
You can carry Wisconsin.
Fuck yeah.
You're going to want to yell "Go Bears" all the time. That is not going to get you.
I want to
elected
tell you something right now.
state.
I feel that people in Wisconsin would like me so much that even if I yelled "Go Bears," they'd find me adorable. They would be like, "He is so."
I love your confidence. I think you might have attempts on your life if you yell "Go Bears."
I don't agree. I think I'm that.
Packer fans are that
First
crazy.
of all, I think I'm that intelligent.
Packer fans are that
I know,
crazy.
but they're also rational. They loved Walter Payton. So if I go, hey, just the Bears era, you got to give us the Bears because you guys have kicked our ass for 20 years, right? But they would respect the fact that I still love my Bears, right? So I could carry Wisconsin is my point. Should I call Kamala?
Yes.
Do you still have her number?
Definitely. I lost it when I got a new phone.
Isn't it crazy though? What I mean, it's crazy that Biden was able to step down because he had to.
Yeah,
he had to.
He did. And now the guy got COVID too after that weak performance. It was actually a frightening performance at the debate, and then he got COVID, and it's just everything pointed to him just not being of capacity to run our country.
He made the right choice.
He did.
He made the right choice.
He should be commended for that because clearly he didn't want to do that, and he listened to reason and put his country first and not himself.
Can you imagine being in the same spot? Would you want to step aside? It'd be hard to.
It would be so hard to. Yeah.
It'd be crazy hard to. So,
but everything unfolded just as it should, as it still will. His donations started to dry up,
Yeah.
and I mean, what tells you more than who needs a poll, right?
Yeah.
Who needs someone to measure anything else? Just measure the money flowing in. So, and now it's flowing. So it is all historic. It truly is.
Oh God, yeah. Long after we're gone, this is.
Yes.
I'd be curious how it's viewed, and I don't want to go down that path because that's not what this show is about. But still, it's amazing that it happened, and where I was going with this, if this is acceptable for you. Normally, I follow politics quite a bit and track it, and you've even suggested I consider some sort of run for something. You have, or at least have a voice in it.
For sure.
And so we don't do that on this podcast ever. But what's interesting is that when it happened, you were at a shower and everyone's phones were buzzing. You were at a wedding shower and everyone's phones were buzzing like crazy. But I was mountain biking. I was a pig in slop. I was so happy because I was out mountain biking not far from where you guys were, and then didn't turn on the radio. Didn't want to listen to anything. I just listened to music then on the drive back.
Mm-hmm.
And then got to my mother's house where you were waiting for me, and we're sitting there. My mom goes, "So did you hear?" And I'm like, "Oh wait, Alex had the baby." My brain went right to, "How come I didn't get a text?" And then she said, which obviously made the notice that Biden had dropped out and the phones were abuzz. And what's interesting is I didn't go down a rabbit hole then and read about it and watch newscasts and read articles about it. Where I'm going is it was nice to step away from that chaos.
Yes, I have witnessed you get very, very worked up over all of it.
I don't think worked up's the right word.
I think worked up, freaky.
Worked up
freaky,
sounds. That sounds out of control. So I don't think it's ever out of control.
No,
I think it's
passionate.
I think it's articulate. I think it's direct. It comes with energy, which we all should have in this life. It's directed. It's supportive. It's loving.
It's not.
There's a little bit of vitriol splattered in there. It's kind of like
That's why I would be a terrible co-host for you for your next podcast talking about politics and the economy and
a good co-host wouldn't be Craig 2 from Parks and Rec. That's not a good co-host would go, dude, breathe a little.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd be a good co-host. I just don't think you like the stress of it. Anyway, the bigger,
No,
the
I
bigger,
would not like the stress of it.
the bigger point is major change in our country, and it was nice to step away from even thinking about that. I do feel it was the right thing for our country, and I think whatever you like of his policies, he will go down as quite heroic for saying, I can't do this anymore.
And he had a great term. A lot of good stuff happened.
Yeah, people are going to debate it, and
don't they every time?
For sure.
Come on.
I just think it's courageous for him to say it's time. Everyone sitting here who doesn't like him may say, well, how courageous is it? He was this, he was that. He's still in the post. He's still running the country, and a step down from the guaranteed, at the very least, nominee spot is not easy. It's not easy to be humbled like that, despite the fact that the economy has maintained what it has, that our recession has gone down. And if anybody hears this and wants to chime in, I'll be on another podcast. And yes, recession numbers have gone down in several different industries. So shut the fuck up. That's where I get the vitriol. Please, I don't want to do this. So he's done some good things. Infrastructure's been great. CHIPS Act has been great. Border has been suspect. We can go down that path. But to step away from those accomplishments, to have a 30% approval rating, he's just, we had a conversation with your son about it. He's just, sorry to say it, he's just so old. And I don't mean
Biden, not my
Biden.
son.
No, I'm sorry.
The way you put the sentence together.
I'm sorry. But your son was saying he's so old. Your son was saying he doesn't feel he's representative of their voice. And I feel old at 58. It's time for younger people in their 40s to start making an impact on government, because they're the ones that are going to be part of the future, right? Biden's on borrowed time. It sounds mean to say that, but
it's not mean. It's a fact.
And so you've got to think about our children, our children's children, and we need more youthful people in government. Hell, these congressmen don't even understand how to put regulations in place for things like social media. Because there should be things in place like that. It's terrible what Instagram, TikTok, and other social media does to young children. The impact it has on it. Suicide rates are up in both young men and young women, and it's largely because of social media. And the Surgeon General did something that was, quite frankly, more performative, but it's having an effect. Wants to put a warning label on social media usage. But when they brought it to Congress, these guys were clueless. I'm in tech and I'm listening to them respond or ask questions going, do you even know how the internet works? Right? Do you understand the technology behind this? So they're clueless as to the algorithms and how they run. And that's why we need more young people in office. So there, boom, just spouted out my platform. So I'm glad he stepped down. It was right for the country. It was a hard decision to make, and it's, we'll see what happens the rest of the way moving forward. But really interesting times we're living in, So, and then last thing, we always joke about getting sponsors, and I don't know if you know that
You're sponsoring us?
I'm sponsoring us now. My other podcast, Politics with a Bears Fan.
I kind of like it.
Politics with a Bears fan?
I kind of like it.
How about turning Wisconsin into Bears fans? Something like that.
No.
You like politics with a Bears fan?
Kind of.
That sounds so... Because then when football season comes on, I just bitch the whole time when we're 0-25 again. And we suck.
At some point, that tide will turn, my love. At some point.
Oh, who knows?
It always does.
It does. Are we still going to go to the Bears-Packers game?
Yeah, I thought that was for sure.
I got to nail that down, too. I've got so much to do today. Tickets for the trip. Anyway.
Yeah.
Can I segue a little bit? I was going to segue to something else. What were we talking about?
Segue again, babe.
Oh, so I've talked and joked about getting the Gottmans to sponsor us, and I've tried other things. And so I reached out to the Skin Deep.
Yes,
I know. Because I also want to get this menopause woman on to talk about perimenopause and menopause, because I think it'd be a super topic relative to relationships. So I'm going to keep hitting her up for that. But I reached out to the Skin Deep, and they are intrigued about doing something with us, because every episode we end getting to know one another a little bit better. We've been doing these kinds of card questions since we've met.
Yes.
And so if anyone wants to see this, if you're watching on YouTube, it's called the Skin Deep, and we have these cards. It's called the blank and. I'm not sure what that means, but anyway, we reached out to the Skin Deep, and they said, let's talk. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. I sent them an email.
Okay.
And maybe they'll sponsor, or maybe they'll be on the show.
Yeah.
And talk about why they do this.
Yeah.
But we do it
So this box is the couples edition.
Do you want to do a different one? We have the
Yeah,
healing edition, and we
what's the
have
red
long
one?
term.
I know we're not exactly long term, but I feel like we are.
You want to do it?
Because we're old.
So we end every
let's
podcast.
Do a long-term one. We haven't done that in a while.
For those of you first listening to us, we do end every podcast talking about. We try to bring up questions to get to know one another still, even though we spend every second of the day. And it's so funny.
These cards are probably really, really. We enjoy them, and they do prompt conversations. But I can see how they would be super helpful to couples who don't normally engage in conversation like this and don't normally connect emotionally. And
agreed.
But I've got two.
Oh, you got two? Pick one just pick one randomly. All right, this one put away.
Okay.
Cool. All right, you want me to go first? You go first.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
What do you think is the hardest thing being your partner?
I mean, the thing that you have you struggle with the most?
Yes. Yeah, obviously.
I would say you struggle with my elevated intensity. That's the hardest part for you.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind first. If that's not right, let's talk about it. Because if there's more, I'd like to know. I think when I get elevated, you struggle with distinguishing my elevation and its direction at you. Mm-hmm. And like, for example, if we talk politics or anything else, where I'll go down a rabbit hole of acting like Craig from Parks, that unnerves you.
Yes, it does. If when we've had intense conversations and you are, as you explained to me, passionate and but sometimes you're mad, mm-hmm. You're allowed to get mad sometimes. Mm-hmm. It is hard for me. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to processing someone else's anger or and it's not that I ever. Please let me be clear. It's never that I feel unsafe. That's not even close. Mm-hmm. I just feel my tension rise, and I'm sure that's very normal. But sometimes it's hard for me. Sometimes I probably miss the message because of that energy. So yeah. And I think we've talked about it many times, and I would say that you have definitely made a conscious effort to communicate maybe differently to me, like still communicate, but maybe hopefully still communicate, but maybe approach it differently. Do you think you've had to adjust yourself to me?
Well, I love that question because the answer is no. Mm-hmm. Let me rephrase that. If I weren't allowed the space to have that ranting moment, that would frustrate me. So you don't walk out of the room. You don't say chill. Those things would frustrate the hell out of me if you started saying, you got to chill. Mm-hmm. Right? What I've learned is that I pick up, I think, a little bit quicker that this is getting heavy for you and I'm going down an aggressive path. And I go, I just want to vent. And I got some things on my mind. This is not
mm-hmm.
at you. So I think that's where we're both getting better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you going, okay, you're starting to elevate a little bit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If I didn't have the space to be myself, whatever capacity that is, that would be frustrating. And I've always told you the reason I care most about this relationship is because I've never been more myself in it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do recognize that those differences between us where we're not alike or not fully similar can be really hard for you and can be hard for me if I don't have a chance to be myself, right?
Yeah.
So did that nail it for you?
I think so.
Are there other ones?
Good. No, that's probably the hardest thing. Yeah. That's good. Okay. And then sometimes you put your dirty running shoes on our white couch. But, other than that,
we have a list that I think we had a podcast before. It was all the things that drive us crazy. Do you want to go down that path the next podcast?
Okay, next one.
Not now. Ready?
I'll work on my list.
Oh, I read this one already before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Okay.
Read this one then. I think we read this one too. God dang it. Hold on. I've got to go deeper into the box.
There are
You know what I did? I didn't shuffle them. Yeah, there's
there.
hundreds, and I grabbed ones off the top. We should have like a finished and not finished pile, right? I'm sorry about that, Skin Deep. I didn't serve you well. Let's try this one. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
I'm happy. And if it involves nudity, that's okay.
Okay. I know you don't like that.
What was that? Okay. What excites you most about our future?
Oh,
Nudity.
All the adventures that we're going to have together. We were just talking about it the other day. So we've been very reflective on this grandbaby that's coming. I mean, clearly it's huge. And for you and I, who only met a mere 3 years ago, and we don't have a deep history together in our relationship, being together now and experiencing life as grandparents is such an exciting chapter that we're both going to be on chapter, section 1 of that chapter when it starts to be written. And that's so cool to me. That's such a gift. And it's, from what all these grandparents say, being a grandparent is the best of both worlds.
Well, you're not going to be one, though. We've established that.
I'm going to be Kathy. So I think that is it. It's writing chapters of our relationship moving forward. And I just imagine them being so rich. And the first one being a grandparent, and then traveling together is so fun. What we've done in this house is so fun. And there's probably more investment things we're going to take on in the future. I don't know. It's just writing the chapters of our relationship together are so fun.
Speaking of the house, you have to take a shower in that new bathroom.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Okay.
Because we finished the bathroom. If everyone follows us, we finished it. Oh, my God, I loved it.
Yay.
It's so nice.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Very
and it
nice.
makes me want to work in the next bathroom.
Okay.
And on that note, thanks for listening, everybody.
Let's finish all the other projects, though, first. Okay.
You got it. On that note, peace.
You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Kathy Shit Show. All recording, engineering, and production provided by us. Connect with the podcast on Instagram at Jack and Kathy Shit Show for more insight into our shit show of a life. This episode is proudly brought to you by Pint Productions.
Point.